Welcome to Japec Community Life Magazine. I'm standing here with Jeff Chase, who is an actor and a movie star. What we're going to do is talk to you a little more about what you're doing, what you have done, and then also the fundamentals of being in show business. And that's where we really want to bring out to our community who are going to view this, our viewers, and let them know that it's not just on stage, it's not just behind the camera. It's a lot that you got to be responsible for, and even in your everyday life.
Sure.
So let's start off. You tell the public a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, my name's Jeff Chase. I started in the acting business year 2000. Something I kind of stumbled upon. Never dreamed of being an actor. Never had aspirations to do it, and ended up stumbling upon it and getting involved in it. And I enjoyed it, and soon thereafter, within a year or two, I realized this could be a really nice career, and started, booking a lot of auditions and things like that, and learn about the work and you have to put into it, and just kind of went through what everybody goes through when they're starting a new venture that they knew nothing about, and did research, tried to learn about the industry, how it operates, and of course you learn the most when you're there in the industry and you're actually working. You kind of learn how it works. So it's kind of a baptism by fire, but that's, I guess, like anything that you do. But I remember I booked my first movie. It was called In the Shadows with Cuba Gooding and James Caan.
Okay.
And I was really excited, big James Caan fan. I remember telling people, yeah, I'm working on a movie with Cuba Gooding and James Caan, two Academy Awards. And they all went, oh, wow, Cuba Gooding. And I'm a big Cuba Gooding fan. But I was like, yeah, James Caan, So I was really excited that I play a Russian guy, and I booked a lot of Russian, learned my accent. When I was growing up, I used to listen to Yakov Smirnoff, comedian from Russia, and I used to imitate him. So went on from there, and then it just, one after the other, and I realized it's time to go out to LA, and I spent some time in LA, a few years, kind of paid my dues, which you never really pay your dues, but I think every actor should go out there with that pressure of, not desperation, but the pressure of this is the big leagues, and if you know you can make it there, you can pretty much make it, on any stage.
Now, how does Cuba Gooding? I saw you in a movie with 50 Cent.
Yeah.
That when
Freelance.
the gangster, and
he's a great guy.
I watched that. Cuba Gooding has more experience, I assume, than
As an actor.
as an actor.
Absolutely.
So is he? He seems quite silly when I look at him in some of his movies. He versed.
Yeah, he actually, I don't think he had done a comedy when I worked with him.
Okay.
Most of his roles were serious, or that exciting, And then he did a few comedies, and I thought he was pretty funny, So he's a great guy, very professional.
Well, your thing, most of the scripts you because of your size, you're a big guy. It's more or less gangster. Have you played a comedy yet?
Yeah, I played a few comedies.
You did? Okay.
Matter of fact, the one I just finished, True Memoirs of an International Assassin with Kevin James and Andy Garcia, is a comedy, but my part is serious. The movie opens with me.
But you haven't. I'm saying you be a comedy.
I have. Lenny the Wonder Dog. It was a low budget film. I did some comedic stuff. It's hard to remember.
Because standing by you when I first met you, I was like, good gracious, this guy is what, 6'9"? 6'7". And I'm going to look up at you.
Yeah.
And from the movies, sometimes you look normal size, but then the other movies, you look like you're a giant over every single person.
It's how they shoot it. They can make you look, there's a lot of actors who you think are a lot bigger than they are. Like Michael Clark Duncan, God rest his soul, what a great guy he was. He is only probably about 6'2". He was 6'2", 6'3". I mean, the Green Mile, he looked like he was 7 feet tall. But it's all about the technical side of how you shoot them to make them look big. And, but I usually play the big thug, the bodyguard or the bad guy.
Or the gangster.
And the gangster, and I'm usually getting beat up or killed by a woman or a guy a lot smaller than me, or, they like to do that. And, usually as I'm reading the script, I say, oh, it's a great role, it's great, oh, there it is, I'm dead, and they killed me. So, but, that's been my niche because I started as a stunt person.
So that's why.
Yeah, that was actually from the True Memoirs movie I just did, but I did all my own stunts, so the stunt coordinator.
Now, have you been injured? I mean, obviously you're here, so you haven't been injured.
I've been lucky, and knock on wood, I broke a couple ribs and nothing ever, to put me out of the business for a while. I'm very lucky because a lot of people get injured, it's some pretty hairy stuff.
Now, what is the average if a person out here wants to get in show business? Before we get to the finance, what is the average work that you normally take on a year? How many projects?
It depends. I mean, you want to take on as many as you could until you can't take any more. You want to have the dream in the business is to have scheduling problems, where you're not available. So if I look back on the average, I usually do 3 to 4 films a year, maybe 1, 2, 3 TV shows, maybe a commercial in there or something. That's just been what it is. Some years are a little better, some a little less, but over 16 years that builds quite a few a nice body of work. And that allows you to stay in the business because at my level we get residuals, we get paid based on DVD and video sales and and internet and pay-per-view. So when you build almost 200 credits, it's there's always a steady stream because it's forever. And they get lower and lower, but you always want to make sure you're doing something
So,
here.
let me ask you this question. A lot of people I meet always talk about they want to be an actor, they want to sing, they want to be a writer, they want to be a producer. Now, you're in acting, and have you produced yet at all?
No, not yet. I've helped on projects, silently, but that is an ultimate goal. There's more control, more money, and I eventually want to direct. That's my.
So, from the acting perspective, and with me and everybody knows me, I want to interview and get to the heart of the matter.
Right.
Acting is here, business is here. From the business aspect, if a person doesn't have long sacrifice in their mind and think they're going to make it quick, could you elaborate on this so that the people will understand what's going on?
You have to understand that when you decide that you want to pursue acting, you want to be real with yourself. You want to get others' opinions that are in the business and work with a coach or take some classes or learn about it. Some people are naturals. I never took an acting class. Not to say I wouldn't, I just never have. I've had advice from acting coaches and things like that, but I never took a class. I believe that being an actor is something that's a God-given talent. If you don't have that, I think it's hard to become an actor because it's just something that allows you to be comfortable in front of the camera. It's hard to learn that. If you have a little bit of it, you can bring it out more. So you need to understand that it's going to be a long road because there's very few people that, all of a sudden they have no credits and boom, now they're, regular on a series or making all kinds of money. So I wouldn't say I'm going to quit my job, move to LA.
Right.
Unless you have some experience. That's what happened with me. I was here in Florida. We had productions here in Miami, some in Orlando, and I was able to stay home. My wife had a good job, and so she was able to help, and I still held a job. And so when I had that base support, I was able to spend money and because you do have to spend some money. I got flown to LA to break even to do a role, fly myself out there, do the role, get paid, and come back and find out, pretty much broke even. But build the resume that was important to me, meeting people. But, so for the business, that it is a long haul. Some people can do it quicker, some people it takes a long time, but you'll know naturally when that time is that, you know what, I'm a full-time actor. I'm an actor that I could
Steady work.
yeah, it's hard to, unless you work for yourself, it's hard to have a job where you tell your boss, hey, I gotta go this afternoon to an audition, or I gotta go shoot something, or I'm gonna be gone for the next 2 weeks, I booked something, I'll see you when I get back. Not a lot of people will hire you like that. So I was fortunate that I was able to do those things. I did work in construction, and I worked for Disney anyway. So that's that side. It's a long haul.
Okay.
It's different from everybody. But if you stick with it like anything else, I think, if you are true with yourself, you understand that you have the talent, people tell you you're booking things, and then it might be something that you can pursue. The business side of it is a whole different thing. When you're an actor, you're running your own company.
So you're marketing yourself.
You're marketing yourself. I always tell people I'm in sales. When they ask, what do you do for a living? I say, I'm in sales. And they say, oh, I've seen you before, But I go every day, I put myself in front of people and try to sell them on me, on the product. And then to get those opportunities, it's not that you just sign up with an agent, wait for the phone to ring. I like to be involved and find out what's going on out there and keep the relationships that I've had from the past and, call on the people and keep my name in front of them.
Agents.
Yes.
Let's get on that subject real quick. A lot of people pay for an agent, and of course I know you instruct me.
Right.
It's almost like I see, hate to say it's the pyramids. If you gotta, I think someone said a long time, if you gotta pay to work, you're in trouble.
Right, exactly.
So
agents do make their money when you book something.
Okay.
They get 10%. Usually.
But you shouldn't have to come out and pay them.
Never, if somebody says, hey, I got all these connections, you pay me up front. No, because if they have all the connections and you're that good, and they think you're that good, then, hey, look what I got. I got a guy who's really good. He looks good, you book, he gets paid. So never pay up front. The only time you should pay up front is you're paying, to get pictures taken for your headshots and things like that. That's an upfront cost.
Okay.
But there is no, everyone will promise that, you pay me this fee and I'll pay you.
And that's what I want to clear, because my magazine is about knowledge, and I want people to understand that there's business, there's common sense, and you basically need to do your research before you deal with somebody in every matter.
Yeah, because fortunately I'm in the Screen Actors Guild, okay, and that was like the gold card, the golden ticket to be in this business. But that doesn't mean there's a lot of work, non-union, non-Screen Actors Guild productions that you may get paid less, you may get paid more, you don't get paid in perpetuity, you don't get residuals when you do non-union work, okay? But it's okay to do non-union work before you get into union, or to earn your SAG card. You can be an extra, there's a lot of different ways. But the experience of having yourself on a real film or TV show professionally done, and having that on your reel or part of your resume is important. You shouldn't turn down that work, but always be weary of, you agree to that price and they may not pay you. Just like any business, you do something for them, you may have to fight them for their money, or they go bankrupt and you don't get paid. With the union, you're always sure of that. But, I'm not a big union fan, to be honest. I think unions were great in our country. Now they've kind of taken over.
But let me ask you this: what if you had to choose between a movie, because this has been asked to me, and an episode, a TV series, which one would be the best for you? Well, as far as not just, I'm looking at the overall steady money versus a lump sum. I don't know how all this works.
It depends. I mean, it really does depend. I can't see myself turning down being a regular on a series. There's only been a few times where I've had to choose between one job and the other. It does happen, but being a series regular is nice. There's the minimum that you make, that's a nice amount, and you're visible. You're a lot. People see you more, and I would probably choose the television if I had to choose. But there's also, when you're doing this series and then you see them in a movie, there's breaks. So you don't shoot the whole year. You shoot 13 episodes or something like that. So there's only a certain amount of weeks and you can go on and do a movie. And if you get that popular and you get that where you're having to make choices, that's a great problem.
Now, in the movies, I understand that you can take money up front. I don't know if I'm right, but you can get yours up front, or just like TV, you may sign off the episodes. I don't know how that works. Or is that false?
That's when you're a big star, which isn't me. You basically you get your pay, whatever your negotiated rate is. There's a minimum. That's usually where I work.
So do you get residuals off that movie?
And you get residuals, but most of your big time actors, they're getting what's called points on the back end. So they're going to put money into the movie. They may not be producing, but they may have in their deal that if the movie does well in the theaters, I get a percentage of that. Most of your big time actors also produce the movie, so they put some money in. So now they're investing, they're getting points on it, and they're getting their pay. That's how you see people are so filthy, ridiculous rich. How did they get that way?
I was trying to figure out whether or not you take your money a hit up front,
or
you got a choice to get it on the
back.
back end.
It's all in union, in Screen Actors Guild Productions, movies and television. Everything is you get paid while you're doing it, and then you also get residuals based on the amount of what you made. That's a percentage. It's a long calculated formula that they don't tell us what it is. We just have to trust them.
Okay.
So,
and then the TV shows are the same way now as they go into syndicate, I think.
If they get syndicated, and you're part of that, yeah, it's a nice lump sum. If they get
so like Martin or one of those shows,
yeah,
long running Seinfeld,
and
still
you need probably, I think it's like a minimum of 100 episodes for somebody to buy it in syndication, and like that. You could have done, say, 10 episodes of something, and it's you were on 10, you were a recurring character, and they did 10 episodes, and it's been running, and your residual checks are kind of small, and then it gets sold into syndication. So someone purchases all of that, and then another check shows up in your mailbox. So it's always a nice thing, And there's different levels for
so
work.
the Honeymooners, from what I understood, I thought they did a lot of episodes. Come to find out they didn't do that many, and yet there's ran.
They just
The product obviously was good to keep. Running.
Yeah.
And you don't get tired of looking at it.
Nope. I've watched a lot of TV shows. I've seen multiple episodes. Like I've already seen this one. So it's it's hit or miss. You don't know. You might be a show that doesn't seem to be real popular, and all of a sudden it catches on, and then you're riding taking the ride for your salary goes way up, and you can demand more. That's what happened with Friends. They were making $1 million an episode.
Wow.
And then that gets sold in syndication. Those guys all got
residual,
filthy rich. There's a lot of money, but there's a lot more actors working at my level, which is a great career, great. I'm very happy and blessed to have it. But the difference, even when you're on set doing a scene with Tom Cruise or Philip Seymour Hoffman again, God rest his soul, or a big time actor, and the guy you're sitting, he's getting $20 million, and you're making $5,000 for the week. It's a big difference. But those guys, no one hands it to you. They're there for a reason, because people are paying to see their movies.
And they paid their dues a long time.
Yeah, I think paying when you say pay your dues, as I said before, it's kind of a weird thing. You never pay your dues, or did they really? Who knows? Whatever they did got them to where they are.
The only reason I say that because I've heard some interviews, and the star will say, you got to pay, you got to be out there, you got to keep. You got to pay those dues and time. Like I'm paying my time and dues to get successful.
Your dues are basically paying your dues is basically getting experience and learning how to operate a business. That's paying your dues. That's what I think, because everything you do, everything you learn, every production you do, you get smarter. You see how to do it different. I guess that's paying your dues.
So you working on a couple of projects out of seas and back over here. Now, is that on a business level? Do you got to pick up the flight costs?
No.
All that negotiated?
The only time I ever, is if they need me to work, they fly you out there, they put you up, wherever it is. The only time, sometimes LA, everyone's local in LA.
Okay.
So I did my LA thing. If I get a call from LA and they want me on something, most of the time I'll fly myself. Star Trek and Mission Impossible and Alias TV show. If he wants me on something, he'll say, we'll fly you out there. But that's not always guaranteed.
Okay.
There are rules from the union that if I go anywhere, they have to fly. They have to fly you, put you up, pay you, all that stuff. It costs you nothing.
Now, there was an actor, and he's in movies today, and he's still doing movies, but I always get him confused. You remember Nighthawks with Stallone?
Yeah.
There was a bad guy in there.
Yeah.
But the other guy kind of favors him a little bit, but he plays in B movies. Look like every time you see him, he's in the movie. It's like a guy who always gets work. He doesn't have a problem playing in a B movie or whatever.
No, B movies are great. I mean,
last time I seen him, he was supposed to have been in some sort of night thing, and he was Dragons or something like that, and he was the bad guy in there. But it's like he's consistency. I forgot his name, but he's consistent work. But he reminded me, he favors the guy that was in Nighthawks with Stallone and Billy D.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. They were cops.
Yeah.
And they,
but I remember that actor.
But some of them just steady. I don't know how they do it.
Steady
But
work
it's a steady work. Michael something, maybe that's his name.
Yeah.
He's a steady actor. And to get to that point, that means you almost got to take whatever comes your way as long as your name is out there.
Well, I mean, you still, you still have the choice to turn down stuff. But you get into a category where you're doing a good job, and a lot of people want you in that movie. And it's when they say it's who you know, it's basically who you have relationships with, who you've done a good job for. They want you in their next movie because they know you're easy to work with, or you're good at what you do. So it's different for everybody.
But let me ask you this: are you ever afraid of being typecast?
I don't think I have much choice being my size. I think I'm always going to play, that kind of physical. Again, knock on wood, I can still do all the physical stuff. Do my own stunts, fall down and fight and stuff like that. So I don't mind being that because it's a very specific category. People my size are only probably half a dozen or maybe a dozen in Hollywood and in this business that do what I do. So it's a good category. I do like playing more contemporary roles, like just playing a dad is great, and I've had nice roles like that, and like we talked about earlier, doing comedy. I'd like to do more comedy, but
Expendables?
I almost was supposed to go on that fell through, but
I know that they're going to come up with another nonsense.
There's a lot that have fallen through that I should have been on.
And how do you feel about if they were to get you to play a part in the Marvel? Or is that something that if you play a character, you get locked in that character, can't do nothing?
I wouldn't mind that. I think I'm at my age and the way I look now, I think I'm beyond that superhero type thing. I think, it's probably for a little more younger. But again, any role that comes to you is your choice. You want to book it, but I don't worry about being typecast.
Okay.
I don't at all. I think again that's a good problem to have. If you're working all the time and you're playing the same type of role, unless you have some need to be more artistic. But now, if you're working all the time, now you have the money and you have a little more power, and you can produce, and you could, then you could create your own.
So, are you going to do something, or have you started writing anything like a book or a series?
No
something
books.
right now?
Listen, every actor in Hollywood has a few scripts.
Okay. So you starting to work?
Yeah, I've written some things that that maybe someday, but that's not my focus right now. My focus is just keep my name out there, keep myself in fairly good shape, being a good business person, and doing a good job. And
Well, look, I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do it again. And then when you come to the magazine, we'll have more update, hopefully, on what he's doing and what he's got coming up. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.